going to talk today all about mitzvah trends.
And here they are, your hosts, Michael Langsner.
All right, guys, welcome back to Mastering Mitzvahs. This is episode 153, and I'm so excited. I've got a really good friend here today. His name is Hector. He's with Total Entertainment out of New York City, and we're going to talk today all about mitzvah trends. And I brought Hector in because Total Entertainment's always on the forefront of things that are hot and trendy, and New York City seems to always lead the path. So without any further ado, welcome, Hector.
How you doing, Mike? How's everything?
Everything's great. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I feel like we've talked about this a while, and then it's never come together, and here we are at episode 153, and you're finally joining us.
You know what? And I got to tell you, man, honestly, there always could be a reason of why we can't do it, but we're just getting it done. Let's just do it.
Excellent, excellent. So what is your official title at Total? How long have you been there, and how did you get into this industry?
I've been at Total now. This August coming up will be 13 years. I've been at Total, but I've been in the business there's two owners of Total, which you're aware of, and I've been with one of the owners now. This coming June is 36 years.
Oh my goodness.
So it's been a minute, and but I wasn't always doing this full time. I was just doing it on the weekends. It wasn't until about 15, no, it's now 16 years ago I came into the business full time. It's always been a passion of mine, and I just couldn't sit behind a desk and come into work every day with a suit and tie. I'm not one of those guys,
I went through that as well.
Yes, here we are.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know, and we don't really publicize it, but Total Entertainment and Explosive Entertainment are sister companies, and that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But the really quick answer is that we share a partner between the two brands. And we share some resources, but we operate independently. It's very cool that we can connect, we could share ideas, we could share resources when need be, but the two brands do operate independently. And that's why I'm happy to have you here today. You're a partner of mine, per se, and also a competitor to some extent, but in a good way. We compete on a good level.
100%, 100%.
So you've been with Total for 13 years, you said. You've seen some of the most outrageous events. I feel like every weekend, Total Entertainment figures out some way to outdo the weekend before. And it's like when the unimaginable can be outdone, it's truly just wild.
Yeah. I mean, some of the things that I've seen here blow my mind. I remember prior to coming here, I thought we were doing big things at the old company where, Jeff was at with Greg and Brian, and I thought we were doing some amazing things. And one of the guys up here, obviously, Jay Levine was here first, and I was like, nah. He's like, nah, wait till you get here. You'll understand what I mean. I'm like, nah. I'm like, what? It can't be. It just, being here and seeing here, like what happens here is really, honestly, it's crazy. It just blows my mind. And you're right. Every week, it's like, wow, what are we doing next? Like,
Well,
like?
let's take a minute to dive into this. It was not the way I wanted to go in this podcast, but I think it's really interesting for people to understand the depth of what can happen with a full service production company. So I correct me when I'm wrong here, or if I'm wrong. I understand Jay Levine, who you mentioned, runs a fabrication department in your building. You guys build your own sets and props, kind of like theater.
For the most part, yeah, which is really, you and I were chatting briefly, but really, I think is what sets us apart is the fabricating part of things. You know what I'm saying is like taking every single person's vision, for their event, both the planner and the client, and coming up with something unique and different and like really being creative with it. We're very fortunate to be able to deal with the clients that we deal with. You know what I'm saying? So, from a budget standpoint, it allows us to be those people to be creative and to then put our fabrication department to work. Honestly,
Right.
Really,
So,
I'm watching
so
Jay Levine right. Sorry, go ahead.
well, he's the best, and we could talk about him for days. But aside from fabrication, you have your own print and design team, multiple designers on staff, and large format printing in your building.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I honestly, That's really what sets us apart from, honestly, I think from our competitors is the fact that we are able to do everything in house. We can adjust on the fly, tweak things. Listen, no one's perfect. What I'm saying, as good as we are, we really strive to do the best and put out the best. Sometimes we show up and there's things that need to be changed and tweaked. We're able to do that, what I'm saying, really, because we have people and staff and teams, on board that are just doing it from our printing department to the fabrication department. And I think what we're doing is we're taking everything and just kind of, we have everything under one umbrella. We're making it all happen, really from one location for the most part.
It's truly inspiring.
Yeah.
So the goal of these podcasts are to give tips and tricks to potential clients or people who are in the mitzvah planning stage. So I want to pivot now and talk about trends. Like, what are the hottest things that you're seeing right now? Like, in the last, I'd say, year or two, give me like your top three most popular requests.
Right, right. First and foremost is food trends. We're not caterers. It's really what I like to always describe to our clients, and what people are buying into a lot right now for us is food activations, food experiences. What I'm saying? Like, we can do your standard Chick-fil-A stands at the end of the evening, or a Shake Shack stand at the end of the evening. But how do we take it even one step even further? What I'm saying? A lot now we've brought on our own cooking division, if you want to call it. Again, we're not caterers. This is the division that's ran by, two people named Paul and Cindy, and they're like, how do we create experiences? Well, let's talk about, like, right now, just chatting with them about a specific client. They're gluten free, and the child is gluten free, and what can we come up with? And let's come up with a really cool stand. What are some food options that we can create for them? And then let's create a custom kiosk that's really cool. So I think the food activation is something that's really big. I think for us, we really have nailed that portion of it. And we're continuing to nail it. Honestly, it's like, because we're still learning every single day. We just had our Wild Wednesday showcase yesterday, and had a new cookie item there that, so listen, it's not that it's out of this world, but we're able to actually bring it to an event and make it happen there. Let's
Yeah.
take a picture. Let's take a picture of Mike Langsner and put his face on a sugar cookie with frosting. You know, it can be anything as simple as that. But you know what? You're creating. I think he said he was creating 4 cookies in every minute, basically.
Wow.
Custom printed cookies.
Wow.
So
So
we're always trying to
outside
find
of
out
food
new things.
activations, which is so impressive in itself, um, what other trends are you seeing?
Technology, for us, the video walls are video walls, but what can we do with them? What I'm saying? We're trying to become more elaborate than doing your traditional 9 by 16 or 7 by 12 or whatever the measurements. Everyone has a different measurement here and there, but we just did an event last week where we did I don't know the exact size of the wall, but if I want to say, I believe it was like a by 11 by 20,
Wow.
with a cutout in the middle, and that was the DJ portion of it. I mean, you were able to have almost like two screens happening, two video elements happening. You could watch your montage left and right and have your center blocked out because you had your DJ in the middle. But when the montage was rolling, all the graphics were tied in and everything like that. Stuff like that, different elements, putting your video wall panels in the front of your stage. So like when you look at your stage, it's video wall panels going, 1 foot, then to the next tier, your 2 foot, tying in video panels that way. I mean, really a lot of, like, from a technology standpoint, video walls are something pretty cool that are, trending. They've been trending. They've been going on for a long time. It's what can you do with them differently? And that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do, honestly.
Yeah.
It's
I
something really
think
big.
it's probably been 5 or 6 years that we've seen the video wall trend just explode in different shapes, sizes, and it was impressive enough to just have a video wall, but now taking it to next level is really cool.
Right,
Um,
right.
I was gonna mention photo booth enclosures. People call them the cube enclosure. I've heard of it called five different things, but immersive booths. I think you guys do them really, really exceptionally, and it's never the same twice. Do, what percentage of parties do you think that you deal with on the bar mitzvahs only, bar about mitzvahs, that do the immersive enclosure styled booth?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm saying it's got to be at this point right now because they are so popular. It's probably 80% of the events that we're doing on a Saturday. You
Wow.
know, 8 out of 10 are doing them.
Wow.
They really
So,
are.
so I want the listeners to like hone in on that for a quick second here. 8 out of 10 high-end New York City parties are doing these immersive photo booth experiences, and they're an experience. They're more than just a backdrop. I mean, there's a vinyl backdrop behind me, a step and repeat banner. This has been something that people have been using for years and years and years, but the enclosures are just a whole other ball game. So that's super cool.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not just about the photo aspect of it, the photo experience. It's kind of like a decor element within your room.
It is.
I'm doing a fantastic one. I'm working, I'm just working back and forth with the design team now, our graphic artist in the office, and we're working on it right now. And I got to be honest with you, it's going to be beautiful. It really, really, it's gorgeous. And, it's like every week you see different ones. Not one is the same. They're different because they're tied into what the event is about. It's from the theme of it to whether it's just colors or if there's is there an actual theme and things like that. The immersives, enclosures, whatever you want to call them, that has really, honestly, that and food are like the two or the takeoffs right now that every week it's like,
But
what are we doing next?
I'm going to piggyback off what you just said. The you use the word theme, and is it a theme or is it a color scheme? Like, are you finding that parties always have a theme now, or have they gotten away from themes?
I feel like they've gotten away from themes. It's more of a look. It's more of a look and a feel. In all honesty, I don't know. That's a tough question, actually, Mike. That's a good one. I don't
So
know.
here,
I have seen
let
some
me tee it
themed
up a little bit.
ones.
Yeah, I'll tee it up a little bit. Back in the day, every party had a theme. It was dance or shopping or candy or baseball or football or whatever. There was a set theme. Now, I think we're seeing the theme is taking the guest of honor's initials, the letters of their name, and twisting it into a saying about the party. And then that saying has a color scheme, and that is just plastered all over the room. Like the branding
Right.
is
For instance, the girl's name could be Olivia. It could be like live it up,
right.
live all, live, laugh, live, laugh, whatever, love. Yeah. Right, right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Right.
So I think we could both agree that that's been the trend. You could still incorporate hints of things like sports or shopping, but like I haven't seen, the centerpieces in a long time where it was like each one was a different store in the mall or each one was a different beach town or something like that. You're laughing because now I'm dating both of us, right?
Dating both of us is right. I know. Seriously. I
Um,
mean, what we haven't seen, it's not even, we've seen it all. You know what? Listen, when you talk about, I think we started off the conversation. We're talking about like, the high end New York City market, which is an animal and a beast amongst its own. And I think what they're doing is really, we're still taking those sayings and things like that, but it's how you incorporate everything else within the room. Where at one point it became, a decal in the center of your floor became branding your entire floor to, branding your floor and continue it to go up the staging and then, tie around the video wall. And then you have the video wall inside of it. It's tying everything together, both from your decor perspective to your, audio visual lighting, elements and things like that. It's pushing the envelope,
yeah,
really, which is what the New York City market really does. They love to push the envelope,
yeah,
and it's fun in ways. I mean, listen, we're able to really, we're able to take. this and vision and make it, make a lot out of it. It really is amazing. It's great to see.
So I'm going to kind of rapid fire here because my goal was to have almost 10 trends that we could come out with. So yeah, I'm giving us a little challenge. But so far we talked about photo booths, we talked about video walls, we talked about food, we talked about theming. 4 versus 5 hours is a big topic here at Explosive and big topic on our podcast. What is the trend that you're seeing?
4 hours is the way to go, honestly. Maybe max 4.5. I did a 5 hour party the other day. We were like scratching your heads, like, what are we going to do for 5 hours? And we had no formalities whatsoever. We did a 6 minute montage and a speech. And we were like, but I got to tell you, we brought it. We brought it and we did an amazing job. But 4 hours is definitely the way to go. Listen, most of the events nowadays, people are not doing all the formalities that we've done in the past. And in by utilizing your timeline properly, you're really optimizing that 4 hours. What I'm saying, your hour cocktail and your 3 hour reception. Listen, you could still leave those 3 hour reception sweating, your feet hurt,
Oh
having,
yeah.
Yeah.
what I'm saying, having the best time. Be like, I didn't even eat. I was up the entire time. By utilizing your timeline and everything properly, it's more than enough time. And at the end of the day, you'd rather people leave saying, I want more than being like, I had enough.
Yes, that should be our number one takeaway from this podcast right here. So I love that. Let's talk this timeline for a quick second because you said you're doing less formalities. Real quick, the percentage of parties that have a traditional grand entrance.
Pretty much 99%.
Okay, great. Most still have grand entrance. How about percentage that are doing a candle lighting, like a traditional 13 candle lighting?
5 to 10%.
Wow. See, I'm probably still in Jersey 70% candle lighting still.
Maybe.
Really?
Yeah, 70% I'd say. Okay. So you're almost never doing candle lighting. Okay.
Very rarely see them anymore. I mean, I just
Honor
got a
dance.
client just to honor dance. I'm gonna say honor dance probably have 50%.
Okay. Um, and that's the mother son father daughter thing. How about a montage, a traditional stop what you're doing and show a 6 to 12 minute montage?
Yeah, I'm saying 95%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's definitely happening still, sure, all the time.
Okay.
They're
And then
getting they're getting shorter and shorter, but
And that's so hard because people have more and more photos now. But yeah, the goal is to keep them shorter and shorter because attention spans is a lot shorter. Okay.
yep, yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, for the most part, Mike, with everything that you're talking about, like as far as like what's happening in these parties, like, really it's your grand entrance are flowing right into your horror. You're sitting them down, you have a speech. Not even, I'm sorry, let me take that back. People are coming into a room, we're dancing them, entrance, they sit, we do, a toast, a horror, a blessing of the bread. Um, and after the horror, there's nothing else happening. I mean, really, what we're doing is we're kind of skipping candle lightings for the most part. And that's
Yeah.
really what we're skipping.
Are you seeing traditional seated meals or buffet meals, or is it like there's stations around the room, help yourselves whenever, but the party doesn't stop?
We're still seeing traditional seated meals.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, kids never. For the most part, kids are always, buffets and stuff like that. And this too. I mean, with regards to like serving the foods and the meals and everything like that, you know, staggering them and utilizing, making them, everything has to happen at the right time. Your timeline is a make or break for your party, in all honesty. What I'm saying? Without a proper timeline. And the timeline to me is more of a guideline. It's a run-up show, feeling out the room, seeing what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Listen, you may need more time, you may not, you may want to rush it, but the order of events is important, to know that's the way to really look at it.
I preach that as well. Um, One of my favorite things at parties is when there's a hybrid of a live musician or multiple musicians with a DJ. Is this a trend you're seeing? And if so, how frequently? And what are the most popular musicians?
I'm a fan of it. I push it all the time. I wish it was happening more. I would say it's probably about 30%,
Mm-hmm.
right now. I really think it should be a lot more. There's some planners and relationships that we have that they call and they immediately say, like, that's they always want that included in there. To me, with the market that we run in, I think it's really about the right musicians, finding like the people that are, they don't want, I mean, they want people, musicians that are going to wow, what I'm saying? Get into the crowd, get down and dirty with the clients and things like that, and have really fun with them. So I do look at it too, as much as I want it, more of it. I also look at to see first when I do just discuss with my clients, I look to see who's available first, truthfully.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. They're like an extension to the motivators in a way. They're not dancing with the kids; they're dancing with their instruments. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we asked that of our, what I'm saying, our musicians. We want them, listen, we're not asking you to stand up on stage and get into the crowd, have fun, go up to the mom and to the dad and stuff like that. And, I'm sure you've seen him with us or not, but this guy, Matt, an amazing violinist, super young, handsome guy, play up to the girls, have fun with them, with the kids and stuff like that. I think truthfully they're a big part of what that could really make a party could, contribute to making a party successful. But again, the right musicians is important,
Yeah.
honestly. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Someone who really understands what our vision is, where to go with it.
Yeah. You and I could probably talk about these things for hours, but I'm gonna try to tie the podcast up here in the next few minutes. Um, I just read on social media in the wedding world, they're getting away from everything being white. Like there was a trend of white facades, white stages, white speakers. Some cities are still like new on that trend, but I'm starting to see some of the more upscale wedding entertainment companies going to everything black, black facades, black stages. Is that something you're seeing in the mitzvah world or not yet?
Um, no, I gotta be honest with you. It's actually, truthfully, I feel like it's always been something one of the things I love about being here at Total Entertainment is that like we have everything white and black. I always ask the question with my relationships, give me a sense of what the colors are like inside of the room because I like to pitch, do you want white? Do you want black? We've done different, do we want diamond plated facades? You know what I'm saying? So like the look of like this, the things that are always a staple from your DJ booths to your stages and to your truss towers and how you sleeve them and things like that. I'm always asking it. I like to tie it into every event, what I'm saying, to
You
see
mix
what's
it up.
happening.
You mix it up.
Yeah.
How about I'm going to go in a whole other direction right now, but is there a common theme with venues? Like, are you traditional venues still like traditional venue to me is a hotel or a country club or like a what you consider a traditional banquet hall, or are you seeing more non-traditional venues, nightclubs, arcades, concert venues, things like that?
Um, Still seeing your traditional venues. I mean, listen, everyone's always trying to come up and find the new wow. What is the new place? What is the new warehouse loft? Or is there a new nightclub? So yes, they are still looking for those. And everyone's yearning for them. Um, it's hard to find those unique spaces. It really is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's, so as soon as you do find them, I mean, you're like fighting for like a day of availability, but your traditionals are always there. They're not going anywhere. Your hotels and, what I'm saying, and, for us in the city, it's, your Conrad hotels, your Ziegfeld Ballroom and your Edison Ballroom, and those venues are not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? They are there. Your second hotel isn't, they're still the staples. The other places, yes, people are always looking for them and always want them. It's just a challenge to find those spaces often.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Um, So let's close it out here. I think we've given listeners a ton of different like common trends, and I want to say that what happens in New York seems to drip and drab its way down into Jersey and Philly over the next like 2 years. So things that we're talking about right now will be way more prevalent in Jersey and Philly in the next 2 years. But we have listeners from all across the country. We've got a listenership in Chicago that we're aware of. We've got listenership down in Florida. So Boston as well. Boston's a great market. Are there any final suggestions? I'm going to just kind of throw this on you now that you would give the number one tip or suggestion you would give to a person planning a party today.
I am always inspired by Mark over here. I love that, what he motivates within us. And when you're listening to your client, you know, really trying to take all the different elements that we do from the gaming to the staff. What is the staff wearing? Can we think outside the box with the staff? Like as far as like what they're wearing to the look of the setup in the room and everything like that. It's really listening to what they're saying and pushing the envelope in with regards to coming up with different things. I can't take credit for this, but there was one kid that was sitting there saying that she's in love with pickleball, and we wound up making a pickleball court and having it at her party. We made a mini pickleball court there,
That's great.
listening to them and
Yeah.
coming and saying, what creative ideas we could come back with. You know what I'm saying? I just really think that's the, bottom line. And honestly, it's not anything new. Like that's, sales 101, listening to what your client wants and creating a vision for them and putting it together for them. Honestly, there's no real trick to it. And we're just fortunate to be able to have so many different elements of within under one roof that are able to kind of create that vision and make it happen easier, I think, than some people, and I think that's really what sets us apart from everyone else,
I love
honestly.
that. If people want to be inspired, how do they find the hottest things from Total? I would think it's your Instagram is booming right now. Is that the place? And if so, can you share how people find it? Like, what do they search for?
Yeah. So honestly, going to listen, our page, there's always so much on there. It's a big means of people reaching out to us or saying, "Hey, I saw this. Can you do, I saw this at a party. I saw, roller girls coming onto the dance floor and stuff like that, and with, different costuming." Our Instagram page is definitely do it, but the internet, social media, and the internet, everything in general. So, like when people, it's a great way for people to get inspired and see what's going on out there. Everything that we do, everyone could do everywhere else. It's a matter of you pushing your clients. Listen, and you don't want to push them in a way that's going to turn them off. You want to again inspire them, encourage them, guide them. Let's see, let's do a fraction of what we saw or something like that. But social media and the Total Entertainment Instagram is a great means, a great tool to see what's happening out there.
Amazing. Hector, I thank you so much for giving us 30 minutes of your time. You're a hard guy to nail down, so I'm sure you have 10 more calls after me now.
This is the quickest 30 minutes I've ever had with you, Mike. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because you and I usually chat about different things for hours. So I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Well, thanks for being here. Episode 153 of Mastering Mitzvahs. I'm Mike. This is Hector. As always, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, message us. I can always get you in touch with Hector. And we'll see you next week. Take care.